Welcome back to Dutiful Citizen, the channel that helps both you and I learn to be better citizens so that we can qualify for better government, among other blessings. In the previous video, to which I provide a link in the description below this video, I told you that I would write about the Equality Act to the 2 U.S. senators who represent me. Once you have written any letter to your senators, you may wonder how to send your letter to them. Please look down at the description below this video. The description below this video begins with a link to a previous episode in which I show how I send letters to my representatives and how you can use the same method. That previous episode is Dutiful Citizen Channel, Episode 8, Romney Letter, How Sent. In case you have not seen enough good examples of citizens writing letters to their representatives, over the course of this video and my next video, I will show you how I wrote the Equality Act letter that you can find in the description below this video. Yikes! That's a blank page there. How will I start? Here are 5 guidelines. Keep it to a single topic. In one sentence, at or at least very near the beginning of your letter, state clearly what you want your representatives to do. One sentence that says what I want him to do. I will start with that. Will you please stop the Equality Act from passing in the Senate? Will you please stop the Equality Act in the Senate by speaking against it, voting. Now, will this be good enough? Actually, I don't that he should be organizing other people against it, etc. Okay. This tells him to persuade other senators. So I want him to talk to other senators. Will you please stop the Equality Act from passing in the Senate by speaking against it, voting against it, filibustering it, pointing out the harm it would do to senators that support it, etc. The guidelines for writing a letter to get a representative to do something say that I should point out that I do watch him, but I don't know what I can say about that would apply to both Romney and Lee. So right now I'm going to skip that. Let's go on to the reasons. The most important reason is what the church said, that it would devastate religious education. That stuff. So I need to find that. Please remember that I, Warren Rogers, do not have the authority to speak as a representative of God or of any church. So we are now back. I remind only if LGBT advocates fail to get their newsroom, churchofjesuschrist.org. I could give this an indentation so it looks like a quote. So here's the citation, here's the quote. Will you please stop the Equality Act from passing in the Senate by speaking against it, voting against it, filibustering it, pointing out the harm it would do? Let's say who support it. Who support it, etc. Only if LGB, I meant to put a T there, the T is important, that's transgender. Only if LGBT advocates fail to get their Equality Act past the Senate do they have a reason to consider seriously what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints proposes as a better alternative, fairness for all. We've taken the stand. The Equality Act should be stopped. I do not. It's got to be on one page. There's not a lot of space left. It would instead repeal long-standing religious rights under the Federal Religious Freedom Restoration Act. This is a constitutional issue. Repealing, I believe, to say more clearly what I'm trying to say here. Back in 1993, federal civil rights laws, federal civil rights laws were already in violation, that the First Amendment commands that Congress shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. However, by 1993, federal civil rights laws were already being interpreted and applied in a manner that encroached on such free exercise. To correct this problem, in 1993, Congress passed the Religious Freedom Restoration Act by a huge bipartisan vote in both the House and the Senate. The First Amendment commands that Congress shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. However, by 1993, federal civil rights laws were already being interpreted and applied in a manner that encroached on such free exercise. To correct this problem, in 1993, Congress passed the Religious Freedom Restoration Act by a huge bipartisan vote in both the House and the Senate. If the Equality Act repeals long-standing religious rights under the Federal Religious Freedom Restoration Act, then back would thereby bring back constitutional violations that the RFRA corrected. Then, however, to do that, unsolved. When I did not have a letter to send to my 2 U.S. senators about the Equality Act, I started a screen recording and worked on my letter. Then, I edited my recordings, removing the parts in which I mumbled or my voice was otherwise not understandable or too annoying, the parts in which I was only thinking, the parts in which I was typing slowly or awkwardly, etc. Because of this editing, this video makes it look faster and easier than it really was to fill that initial blank page with content that satisfied me. Nevertheless, I think that this view of the writing process gives you a much better understanding of what steps you might follow to write to your representative than you could get from just seeing my final product. This was only the second topic about which I have written a letter to an elected representative of mine. Therefore, some of you have much more experience at this than I, and can thus write better and more easily than I. Writing this letter did not feel laborious to me. I enjoyed it. Very important point. Any letter or other contact is better than no contact. If you feel that all you can write is the sentence that tells your senator what you want him to do, write that sentence and send it. That will be better than nothing. Here is another point at which I could have stopped adding more content and sent my letter. At this point, I had shown why the Church opposes the Equality Act and that the Church proposes fairness for all instead. So I had provided a reason for my senator to do what I asked him to do. However, I chose to add more justification for opposing the Equality Act. If you wish to copy the letter that I wrote, rather than go through a writing process like I did, you are welcome to do so. Writing your own letter is what most impresses your representative with your seriousness about the issue, but sending a copy of someone else's letter shows more seriousness about the issue than sending nothing. Will you please read Mosiah 4:27?
And see that all these things are done in wisdom and order, for it is not requisite that a man should run faster than he has strength. And again, it is expedient that he should be diligent, that thereby he might win the prize. Therefore all things must be done in order.
I have now sent the letter that I develop in this video to both of the U.S. Senators who represent me. This has been Dutiful Citizen Channel, Episode 10, Equality Act, Part 2.